Hello. So in this video, we'll try to write a simple project in C++ involving a book management system. The idea behind this project is to provide you an understanding of how you could use C++ to build certain simple projects. And this is going to be a very simple one at the basic level. And just to provide you an idea of how the interface shall look like, we will provide an option or a kind of a menu to the user where they will be able to perform three different types of operations. For example, add a new book to the system, or delete a particular book from the system, or search for a particular book and display all the details related to that particular book. So this is going to be the interface that we are going to provide to the user. So let's get started. And as you can see, I have absolutely no code over here. So I decided that I'll write the code from scratch so that you'll also get to know the complete end-to-end process. All right, so firstly, I think I will add some header file that I feel will be essential. Um, yeah, so the IOStream, and also I will include the STD namespace. All right, and to get started, I will create a class called as book. All right, and in this class, I will have certain members. Say, for example, when we consider any book, then the book will have a name. So I will have a book name, and also there will be an author for that particular book. So author name, and also an integer variable wherein you can store how many pages are there in that book. All right, so I think this much is sufficient to get started with. Um, Now, as I told you, we are planning to provide three different functionalities, right? We want to add some new book to the system. We want to delete a particular book from the system. We want to search for a particular book and display its details. So since this involves, kind of some storing certain data, then I thought that it would be better if we can utilize the map over here. So I will go ahead now and include the unordered map. All right, and I will create an unordered map over here first. So this map, the key of this map will be an ID, which will be unique to every book. All right, and the value will be an object of the book class that we have created. So that's how it's going to be. So I've created the map over here. Along with this, we will also need one variable in order to keep track of the book IDs, because we are not going to ask the user to enter the book ID. We are going to handle it internally in the code. The simple logic being that uh, we just need a system that we assign a unique ID for each of the book, and since it's going to be just an increment of the previous existing ID, we can handle it ourselves. We needn't ask the user to enter the ID for the book. So I will have a variable called as book ID, which I will initialize it to 0, and I can use this going ahead. All right. So I think I'll now go ahead and write the first function, that is going to be the add function. So what I'm going to do in this function is, firstly, I will ask the user to enter the book name. All right. So enter the book name. Okay, and whatever the user enters, we will have to store it. So I will create an object of the book class over here, and the name entered by the user will be stored in the book name. Okay, and I will just copy this because I have to repeat the same thing for the author's name. Okay, so enter the author's name, and whatever will be entered will be stored in the author name. And same thing for number of pages. Okay, and that will be stored in the number of pages. That's it. Okay, so once this is done, we will have to add this object to our map. So how we will do that is book underscore map of ID equal to um, the object. I think it's not ID, it should be book ID. Yeah, that's it. So we are done, but we will also write another print statement to inform the user that the book with the name, a space, and obj dot book name has been assigned uh, the ID, and we can mention the all right, I think so the book ID will be 0, so I'll have to do a pre-increment here so that it always increments, and then I can print the book ID over here, and has been added to the system. Yeah, that's it. So this will complete the add functionality of the book management system. And now I will go ahead and write the functionality to remove a particular entry. So for this, what I'll have to do is ask the user to enter the book ID. Right. And once the user enters the book ID, I will have to use a variable over here and then store the data entered by the user. And see, there can be two scenarios here. The user can enter an ID that is actually existing in our system, or the user can enter an ID that does not exist in our system. So we have to handle both the use cases here. So for that, what I'll do is I'll try to search in the map that uh, dot find of the ID not equal to book underscore map dot end. Right. So what this condition basically means is that when we try to find whatever entry whatever ID the user has entered, whether it's there in the map or not. So if it is there in the map, then whatever I obtain here as the result of this find call is not going to be the end of the map, which basically means that I have not reached the end of the map, and that means there is some entry with that particular ID. But if it has reached the end of the map, then it basically means that there is no entry with that particular ID. So that's the logic over here. And that's how you can use the unordered map. All right. So um, if it has not reached the end, it means that that ID exists. So what I can now do is uh, dot erase, and I can tell this particular ID, just remove the entry with that ID. And I can also tell now to the user that the book with the ID has been removed from the system. All right. Yeah. And if that's not the case, we do not find what the user asked for, then we will inform the user that I think maybe I can copy. Right, and I can come here and paste it. The book with the ID is not found in the system. It's not found in the system. That's it. All right, and I think this completes the remove functionality. And now I will also have to do the same thing, but for the display. So the um, initial part of the logic kind of remains the same. So I just copy this entire thing over here. I'll paste it. So even here we'll need the ID. Even here we have to perform the check. So the else part remains the same. No difference there. But in case the book exists, then we have to display the details of that book. So what I'll do is I will tell book underscore book name and the name of the book. We can go ahead and display it over here. So how I'll do that is book underscore map of ID dot the book name. Okay, yeah, and the same thing I'll have to do for the author name and the number of pages. Author name and number of pages. Number of pages. All right. Yeah, this will also change. It's going to be dot the author name in here, and over here it's going to be the number of pages. I think that's it. So we are done with the display functionality as well. I think now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create the menu for the user. I mean, the main function is the entry point for our program. So um, I'll first ask the user to enter the choice, all right? And I will provide the user with a menu wherein the first thing is going to be kind of like add new book, okay? And in the next line, what we could do is um, remove existing, or what I could do is remove book from the system. And one more option is display book details. Okay, and the final option is that the user wants to exit. No, done. So that's it. Okay. This is kind of the menu that will be displaying to the user, and now the user is going to enter a choice. So we will process that choice, and we'll use a switch statement here for the choice entered by the user. And in case the user has entered 1, then we will call the add function, and we can break. In case the user has entered 2, we have to call the remove function that we have written, and we can also break here. And in case the user has entered 3, then we have to call the display function. Okay, and that's it. And in case the user has entered 4, we just have to exit. All right, and yeah. What this will do is it will ask or display this menu only once. It will be for one iteration, but if we want this to happen for infinite number of iterations, unless and until the user wants to exit. So what we could do is bring this entire thing inside a while loop. Okay, so I think this will take care of displaying the menu again and again until the user really wants to exit. So that is it. I believe it looks fine to me. So what I'll do now is go ahead and compile this. Let's see the output. All right. So I've compiled it. So compilation is successful. It looks fine. So now what I'll do is slightly this above, and I'll display and I'll execute it. Okay, so this is how it's looking like. So I think there needs to be some space after the four. I think that's fine for now. So here's the menu. Enter the choice. One says add new book, two remove book from the system, three display book details. So I want to add something new, so I'll enter one. So enter the book name. So if it is something related to adventure, I'll say adventure book. Okay. Now enter the author's name. So I'll say it's author one. Okay, and enter the number of pages. So I'd say the book has 150 pages. All right, so I see a statement here that the book with the name Adventure Book has been assigned the ID 1 and has been added to the system. All right. Um, Adventure Book has been, okay. Yeah, I think it's still fine. So now what I'll do is mm, I'll display, I want to display the book details. So enter the book ID. So maybe I'll say the ID is 1. So here I get the details. The book name is Adventure Book, author name is author 1, number of pages is 150. All right. So I'll exit for now, but what I'll do, I'll execute this once again, and this time what I'll do is first I will, enter um, the book once again. So maybe book 1 this time, author 1 this time, and the pages as 170 this time. Okay. And yeah, the book with the name book 1 has been assigned the ID 1 and has been added to the system. So now what I'll do is I'll use the option number 2, remove book from the system. So I'll enter the ID as um, 1. Okay. So the book with the ID 1 has been removed from the system. Now what I'll do is I'll try to use display the book details. I'll enter the ID 1, but if you notice, the book with the ID 1 is not found in the system. Now why this is happening is because we added the details, but we removed it as well. So for those reasons, what will happen is when you try to display the details of that book, will not be getting it. I think so. Yeah, this looks fine to me. It's working fine as expected. And however, you can add furthermore entries also. I think we can see that scenario also wherein we add multiple books, and let's see, how it behaves. So I'll clear the screen, and now what I'll do is I'll execute it once again. Maybe I can go ahead a little further to bring it above. Yeah, I think I'll execute now. So add a new book. I can tell it to be book 1, and author's name is going to be author 1, number of pages 200. Okay, and I'll add one more book, and the book name is going to be book 2 this time. Enter the author's name, it's going to be author 2, and number of pages is going to be 120. So if you notice, the first book that we added got the ID 1, and the second book we added got the ID 2. All right. So I think it's all working fine. I will end it over here. Okay. Um, I think that's it from my end. This is just a simple project. This the particular book management system logic has a lot of scope for improvement, because if you notice, when you try to display the book details, you can go ahead and also display the book details based on an author. Say, for example, you enter the author's name, and you can display the details of all the books belonging to the that particular author. So that kind of functionality can also be provided, and also you can add the genre over here, the genre category, and based on the genre, you can display all the different books that are available. So a lot of scopes for improvement. But as I mentioned in the beginning, the agenda here is to, just show how we can come up with a simple project using C++. And yeah, this is how it is. I hope this helps and provides you an idea of how you can also create a simple project in C++. If you have any doubts or any queries regarding the code written here or in terms of this particular project, please feel free to ask those questions in the comment section. And if you want me to come up with any other type of project or for any other topic, also feel free to mention the same in the comment section. So feel free to share your thoughts. I hope this helped you. Thank you.